All right, here we go. Well, Warren, thanks for joining me today. We're just talking about some technology you put me onto because I'm impressed with what you're doing. I want to start off I want to read this little piece on you. This might be a little awkward.
Oh no.
No, this is good. It's from actually a mutual friend of ours. So this was just
By
something
the
off.
way, I don't have any friends, so I don't know what you're talking about.
This
Sorry,
is
go.
this is off of your website. It says when you look in the dictionary under the word passion, there's a picture of Warren. This is from Mike Philly, who obviously you know. He says he's not afraid to take chances and does what he thinks is the right thing for his clients. He's tough but fair and a real pleasure to know. I recommend Warren to anyone. And he goes on here. But I would say, just it's always interesting when I get to meet people. Like, obviously we're dialoguing here now. But when I do my homework in advance, you get a sense of who they are, on the internet. Everyone's got like this life on the internet. And I would say that describes you pretty well, and having talked to you, previously, it's spot on. So I just want to say, I'm fascinated by people like you. I love what you're doing. So, kudos to the job you've done and your career and your reputation, man.
That's just one side. The other side, nobody writes it.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
you know what? At the end of the day, first of all, I'm always honored and I'm always humbled when somebody like Mike or anybody has anything nice to say about me. I will tell you that in all my years of selling, when I had the print company, I didn't close every deal because if I did, I probably wouldn't be here because I'd be on a beach somewhere. But the one thing that everybody said to me after meetings or whenever a day later we're talking is, oh my God, I've never met anybody more passionate about you in the world of print, meaning other salespeople, other owners. And I think that's pretty cool. And I'm like that with my fishing. I'm like that with my kids. I'm like that with the Grateful Dead, like the music.
yeah.
But if you're into something, just put it out there. And then the passion stuff, I think when you're passionate about something, you're not thinking about it. You're just putting it out there as you go. You're doing it and it comes naturally.
Yeah, and you could tell. And again, you're one of these guys that practices what he preaches, right? I mean, obviously you had the printing is alive video, which you've probably talked about ad nauseum by now.
Never.
But yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. And early in the game, and I think what fascinates me about stuff like that, like when I see someone in a traditional business that goes out and produces something, and I'll make sure that for anyone, watching this, I'll make sure and link to it here. But like, I feel like in a lot of businesses, like that would be tough to pull off in that you would have a lot of people telling you not to do it. Right. But it was so authentic and funny and, you were just being you and you were passionate and clearly it worked. Right. So do you think, well, A, it was your printing company, no?
Yes.
Right. So that gave you a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah, so just a couple things to what you just said.
Yeah.
Number one, in any company, anything could happen, but it must start at the top. If it doesn't start at the top and roll down, I don't think it's ever going to be successful because somewhere along the way it gets blocked, it gets changed, or somebody else puts in what they're thinking, what they're feeling. When it comes from the top and the person at the top is rolling, everybody follows the leadership,
Yeah.
right? Leadership, again, coming from the top. When I did that video, and I tell everybody, let's not kid ourselves. What happened with it going viral, phenomenon. Like when I did it, I thought maybe there's going to be 100 people that are going to see it.
Yeah.
The only reason I did the video was I had seen another video related to the corrugated box industry that I thought was great. At the time, I was younger than I am now. Everyone in the company was pretty young, and we were all doing raves and hanging out and whatnot, right? And it was just something to do fun because my thinking wasn't the video. My thinking was our culture. My thinking was, how do you keep everyone together? I used to walk in every morning to the plant whenever I got in at 6:37, go around, say good morning to every person, right? Chat a little bit Mondays, just to find a way to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
We had great events all the time. What did I learn early on? And it wasn't my doing because I'm not, I don't think I was that smart, but from others I heard it's always your people who make you. You can lead them, guide them, but it's the people who really know more or know a lot about what's going on. And you got to let people move and groove and do their thing, right? The other thing is when you were just saying some people tell you don't do it. If you're never, or if a person is never, if a person's ever doing something, but it's not offensive, not disrespectful, or anything along those lines, then just do it.
Yeah.
Who is anyone to tell anyone what not to do? Who is anyone to tell anyone what's right or what's wrong, what will work or won't work? Because we've always seen anything could work. Now, I said to you the other day, what did I learn a long time ago? I learned a long time ago to wear smaller shoes because they're easier to get out of my mouth, right? When they get stuck. I know that I'm pretty good in general. I mean, I'm biased a little because it's me.
Yeah.
But I also know there's plenty of times when I'm a little off the cuff or I get a little excited or whatnot, and I say something I might not should have said, but I own it. And I'm not afraid to own it. And if anyone wants to rip me up, kill me, and shred me because of it, I don't really need them in my life because it doesn't mean that much to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And I mean, building, company culture is such a buzzword, right now in particular. I've got some peers of mine that like they're in that space where, they're training on company culture and all this stuff. And it is one of those things where when you get older, you realize you really can't fake it. You either have a specific culture or you don't. You can have as many slogans as you want, but you can sense it when you walk into an environment. You can really feel what that culture is like. And so you have someone.
It's not the slogans.
Yeah.
Okay. The slogans is just the initial thing that people might see when they walk in, right? It's more like if you're walking a customer through the plant and you're stopping at the press or the folder, and the pressman and the folder person's name. And you're like, hey, Jack, hey, Cindy, whatever it is. I don't want to discriminate or get anyone get mad at me after the show. And you go up and they're like, hey, how you doing, Steve? And everyone's talking. The customer picks up that everybody knows everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And I said it before, there's a gentleman by the name of the late Larry Kendall who had a company called Cameo Craft. When I went there, he was, I think, 72 years old, and he toured me through the factory. And everywhere we stopped, he knew every single employee, and he had 150 or 200 employees. He knew every single person by name, and he'd be like, hey, Jack, how's it going? He goes, like, you've been here 22 years. He goes, like, what keeps you here? And the conversation was real. And I would just I walked out of there going, oh, my God. And then all of a sudden, when I started doing tours, I started talking to the people and, hey, our pressman's name was Steve, hey, Steve, want you to meet Larry, one of our customers. Larry, this is the guy that prints your stuff that's up all night.
Yeah, that's great.
The pressman meets the customer. The customer meets the guy who's making it happen. I'm just the communicator in between to facilitate it.
Yeah. How much do you think, sharing the internal, so you're mentioning like names of people and kind of putting a personality to the company, because it does feel good, right? At the end of the day.
Everybody has a name.
Everyone's got a name, right? And people still.
Unless you're drunk, then everybody's yo.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in most businesses, especially commodity businesses, the relationship is still, you got to have a relationship with your customer, right? I mean, I realize there's some digital companies that might argue with that, but for the most part, that's true. And I guess what I also like about, what you do is you give people a little glimpse inside your life. I mean, you shot that fishing video, which you used a drone there. It was great. I think you must have used a drone, otherwise you had something happened.
Big arm, long arm. Yeah, no. I love. First of all, the fishing is off the charts.
I can tell.
For a fish. But you know what? What I've noticed is, so like on my Facebook page, right? I've got lots and lots and lots of followers. I don't even call them followers. I call them fish friends because that's fish heads. Yeah. I don't mean Fish the music band. Like we just love looking at each other's pictures and videos.
Yeah.
And then you talk with some, and then the community kind of just grows. And I've had, what I use Facebook for really is I post my fishing stuff and I check in where I go. Why do I check in where I go? If anyone thinks I'm doing it for other people to see, it's not really it. I check in where I go, so that's my online journal. I remember where I went, the city, the church, the museum. the bar at midnight, which I would never remember the next day, right? And the cool stuff with the posting is I've had so many people who call me or I chat with that just say, "Hey, thanks, love watching your journey."
Yeah.
If a person could say to me, "I love watching your journey," it makes me warm and smile, right? Or I'm heading over there. Any suggestions? And then I say there. I've had some people say to me, "Hey, don't you think you overdo it on Facebook?" And then I go, "Are we friends?" I go, "Hang on a minute." I look and I go, "No, we're unfriended." Why? Because I don't want you to be uncomfortable looking at my stuff if it's not going to make you happy.
Yeah.
And then the person's like, "Shit."
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't call anybody out like that. That's not, that's why they have the like button. Either like it or don't.
Yeah, that's funny. You mentioned, like the journey. Like that's one of my favorite parts of seeing anything. And I did it with your stuff as well on YouTube. What I love to do is people that are creating a lot of content, I'll go and I'll sort by oldest. And you can actually see, because most people, they want, perfection out of the gate. They're worried about how they're going to look. They're worried about how they're going to sound. They're worried about all this stuff. And I don't care who it is, right? If you go and sort by oldest or look at their old content, it's so much fun to watch the progression. Like if you look at your original video, just from the background to the audio to everything, it almost gives you inspiration to start, because you realize, oh, you have to start somewhere and then just get good at it. And it was fun kind of going back and looking at some of your stuff, man.
So I'll tell you, when I started doing this, so I have a new computer, made sure to get a camera that's 1080. After COVID, I don't know how anybody sat through all those meetings. It doesn't have a camera that makes it clear that you see them. I don't have light behind me. Like, everyone's responsible for making their presentation or their interaction their own, right? Zoom was never a problem for me because everybody was clear and it was clean. Yeah. Right. If it's all bad and it's in and out, not interested. So I've updated the camera, this and that. But the podcast that I do with What They Think, they might edit some of them. My own stuff that I put out there, there's no editing. I don't have time to edit. I don't know how to edit. I don't care to edit. If I say your name wrong, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to say it. I'm going to move on. That is life. Life is not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I mean, I'm pretty close to perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm nowhere near perfect. But that's just my approach. But other people like everything cut, done right, the editing, it stops, it starts.
Yeah.
Right? I can barely get my name on a line in Word when I'm signing something.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I talked to Eric Vessels, who obviously you guys are, clearly friends. He's another one. And then
I don't know if I'd say that exactly. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
And then Deborah Korn was another one who I know you've talked to as well, where it's so awesome when you talk to people that are just, through and through, just authentic. There's nothing about it. And when part of the reason I reached out to you, it's in any industry, right? Especially now being in the world of print and going through this, like when you find people that are kind of on the cutting edge of, I guess, the new media, as it would be, right? Especially when you think of smaller brands or companies, and you're just sharing your insights with an unfiltered kind of method to the madness. It is refreshing, man. It's really fun.
Appreciate that. See, and comments like that, not an ego thing, but it fuels what I want to do. So I could have two people say to me, I had one person say to me, "Oh, really like your stuff. Maybe you can cut out the swearing."
You're right.
I'm like, "Go fuck yourself." like,
right.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean it to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
But if you liked everything but that, bag it, right? Or don't lift it. Like, because nothing I say is to insult or disrespect anyone.
Yeah, and it's clear. I mean, and you're very good at what you do. I mean, clearly, I guess shifting gears here for a second, like when you think of the world of print that you're in, right, and the companies that are kind of doing things in an innovative way, or I guess a simple way to put it, is there anyone out there or things that you've seen, you don't have to be specific, that are doing things where you're like, man, they really get it?
Oh, you know what? There's a few people. There's one fella who, when I was part of a peer group for many years, his name was Dave. He's alive. His name is Dave Harding, and it's Harding Portman. He's in Indianapolis. When I was part of the peer group, Steve Anzalone was with him. who's another consultant in the trade, who's awesome. But Dave had a mindset that was so ahead of everybody else. He was so inclusive with all of his employees. The way he bought things, the way he paid for them, the way he made things happen, the growth within the company, the sharing. Everybody was part of the profit plan. He was the first guy to have a cafeteria where it was on the honor system, loaded up with natural, healthy food.
Oh, wow.
So everybody was always participating. They would discuss their numbers at the end of the month. I never had a mindset like that. I'm like, I don't know, you're going to tell people the numbers, they're going to, they're going to go sideways, and everybody thinks what they think. He shared the profits. So when there was profits, he shared. When there was no profits, he didn't. And then the people then also knew that the company was suffering a little.
Yeah.
Right. That was one person. I mentioned Larry Kendall from Cameo Craft. Just the way he ran his operation was really off the charts.
Yeah.
I just had another name in my head, but it just kind of slipped out. But there are so many people that I think are just doing it right, that are into what they do, that care about the people, care about all the relations, care about their customers. Not that we always want to care about them. We need them, but they can make you crazy. So there's so many people, and I have been blessed with meeting so many people. I just wish, like up in the old noodle here, it could remember all the names of all the people that I met.
Yeah. You're definitely all over the place, man. It's that's interesting. In terms of like the industry at large, right? Where do you see things? So there's going to obviously be in any industry, right? Winners and losers, and companies that are going to step out in the forefront, obviously, and lead the way, and those that will fall behind, right? Especially with technology and AI and everything moving as fast as as it is right now. I mean, when you think of like the future of print and print companies, I mean, what is the kind of the 1,000-foot view for you? Like, I mean, what do you see coming down the pipe?
So as far back as I could remember, like when I had an afro, um, there was always a lot of metal on the road. There was always a lot of printers on the road. There was always a lot of commodity pricing. There was always a lot of low balling. And then we always used to say, oh, there's no way that guy's going to make it if he keeps doing what he's doing. And guess what? He's still here. So I think I've learned that everybody kind of has their own way of doing things. Everyone will rate their own level of success or what they want their profit to be, good or bad, on their own. I learned top line is ego, bottom line runs your business. I've watched print change from, when I first started, I think the telex was on the way out and the fax machine was on the way in. And my kids don't even know what a fax machine is.
Yeah.
Right? So print will continue to evolve. It'll always change. Even today, no one's buying stationery anymore. No one's buying stationery anymore. But the purchase of large format, of on-demand books, of labels, packaging, like to me, print is print. I don't break it down into a letterhead, a business card, a box. It's ink on something. Period. Right? And that's not getting any smaller.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you share a lot of great examples of that. When you say it's not getting any smaller, that kind of leads me into another question I had for you.
That's only because I saw a number that said like 884,992,000,000. So that's where that comes from. I'm not a statistician or anyone one of those.
Oh, that's good. Do you see any brands out there? So I'm always not it may seem biased, right? But I've always been a fan of print. I'm just, maybe it's the age or whatever, but I think a lot of the younger generation is loving it too. Just the tactile, the feel of something in your hands. And you created that video not too long ago about the Uline catalog. And I loved it. It was just very insightful. I mean, it was a short video that you put out there. And you actually had the one from a year ago in that video. I think you hadn't thrown it away yet. So you had 2 Uline catalogs. But
I did now throw it away, by the way.
Yeah.
It's too much.
But I'm starting to see more brands like leverage print to build connections with their customers, which I think is really interesting, right? And I think Uline has just always done that, haven't they?
So Uline has to have a catalog.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of it. There's another company in Canada called TenEquip.
Hmm.
Also, their catalog comes like that, and it's obviously a big web guy printing it. Um, Restoration Hardware, that's
Mm-hmm.
another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Got like 80 pounds of catalogs that go out. Um, you can't take a tablet and flip a page and go back to it,
Right.
right? You're buying furniture for your house, different rooms. You got the catalogs. It's open. You could show it to the designer. You could show it to somebody else after. Doesn't work the same. I think today, with where we're at, everybody needs a combination of both, right? Well, we already said the fishing thing. So like, I'm always going to the fishing places, right? And Bass Pro Shops used to have a catalog I'd get in the mail. I miss it, right? Can't if I drop the catalog in the toilet, who cares? I drop my phone in the toilet, we got issues. Right? But it's be able to circle, it's be able to fold over. So I think some things are better, but I don't think anyone could be without the other today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of brands like Red Bull's been doing it for quite a while. I know John Deere has their version. And you see all these niche, like you were saying, in the fishing space and all these spaces, these little niche magazines popping up. And there's just something to it almost makes it feel real to me, right? So I've got a buddy of mine that has a business. They do podcasting and all this, but he sends just a simple, really basic newsletter every month, like a physical one. And I sit there and kind of flip through it. And I almost feel like, okay, there's real people behind this business. And it just seems like there's more thought and care that goes into a piece that is delivered to you. And I find it hard to believe that won't continue to grow. Like the idea of connecting your brand in a way that is advantageous, right? When everyone's online, everyone's sending email, getting something in someone's hands that says, hey, we're real, we're a real company, there's a lot of power to that.
Well, you know what? Email. So email in the beginning was a novelty and it came in. I miss the email from customers because I get so much junk shit coming through here.
Yeah.
So I'm going through my email and I got like 2 or 3 addresses, unfortunately. I'm constantly going through the junk folder to see what got trapped, even though it shouldn't be trapped. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it. But if a brand wants to reach somebody or a loyal customer, direct mail, personalized mail is the best way to do it. I open up every envelope that I get, right? And I open up the envelopes that don't have anything on it. It's like junk, because I want to see what kind of stupid companies are out there wasting their money, right? Sending out blank. I even went on LinkedIn, found the CEO of a company that was mailing me something and said to him, listen, I'm not selling you. This is the space I'm in. These are some statistics. You're automatically going to be 2-3%, whatever more. If would love to have a conversation with you if you're interested. The guy never phoned back. Right? What kind of CEO is that?
Yeah.
Maybe he knows it all. Maybe he didn't have time. I'm just kidding. I'm not calling him out for anything. But I went out to just to offer him up a little bit of tidbit because I'm like, oh my God, you're spending this money, right? Spend a few cents more and maybe. But everything that comes with my name on it, I'm almost excited, except for my Visa bill, to open it up. Right? Magazines. I just got the other day in the envelope my from Aeroplan. Like I saw what it was from. I saw my name. I couldn't have been more excited to open it up and get my this year's status thing and a little card. Even the little, and this was done personalized. They spent some money on this.
Yeah.
And then my name's on every card. Don't look at the number so you don't use it.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I feel now. Never mind that I'm a lover of print. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It wouldn't feel so good if it's at 25 level instead of 75. But I feel good about it. I mean, print is emotional.
That's a good way to put it. I think you're exactly right. I mean, digital, there's just something missing, and it's been fun to watch because I do see more and more brands kind of toying with it and getting involved in it. But only time will tell. I mean, outside of that, Warren, what are you excited about, man? Like you live and breathe the world of print. Like what are you excited about?
I don't. First of all, so someone asked me, when was the first time I got really excited about print? Like when did it really pique my interest? You know, and to be honest with you, I think I was 12 years old looking at the titty section of the Sears catalog. Because to me, that's what it was back then, right?
Yeah.
That was the for those that are listening, that, you know, close your ears. But that was the porn section.
Yeah.
That's when print came alive to me, right?
Yeah.
I was going to make some more jokes, but I'm going to stop. But that's when it came alive to me. And then later in life, two things. One, I realized that when I started, every single person in business that I met was a potential customer. And I think print is the only industry where we could say, well, that's maybe the toilet paper manufacturers, but the print is the only industry that could say we do business with just about every company. And even companies who don't think they use print. It's it's their definition of how they see print, right? I did another little video. I got an Amazon box, and I hadn't even opened the box, and there was a barcode sticker and an inspection sticker and an address label and another label. There was 5 printed pieces on plus the box was printed. That's all printing. Then I opened it up and there was a box covering whatever I had ordered. There's another box. And there was instructions inside. So, you know, you buy a car, they still go around the car. There's labels all over. There's a book. Depending where you buy your car, they might give you another book, a catalog. Like, that's the stuff that stays out. That's the stuff that you remember. You get an email, chances are you're not remembering to go back. And then I started highlighting my emails so that I would remember to go back. Well, I got so many highlights, I don't even want to go look at them. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid because there's too many. Then I thought, you know what, I'm going to get smart. I'm going to color code them for what's important. Well, the amount of time you spend playing games trying to get ahead, you're not ahead.
Yeah. Now, you've been obviously, you go to so many industry events and everything. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, when it comes to obviously the technology, the automation, the equipment is getting, you know, incredibly just better. It continues to improve. What do you like in a world where most people have access to the equipment, the gear, the technology? Like, what do you think is separating the companies that are going to lead the way?
Well, again, when we say companies that lead the way, you have different companies. You have companies that want to be leaders within the industry, that want to be ahead for their customers, that want to stay up on technology because they're, you know, that's what drives them, mm-hmm. the excitement. You have other companies that don't work maybe like that, but the owner is making money, he's happy, he's providing for his family, and he's good to be there. So you got to break it down. You could break it down a little further as to who in this camp wants to run and lead, who is just comfortable, doesn't like more stress, doesn't need more aggravation. Yeah. Right? So it's really broken up. I think everyone wants to do well, but good is good, right? Yeah. I always say better is better. Big is not better. Yeah. Right? Even in business, I made more money in my single best year of profit. It was when I did 7-8 million than anything else. Yeah. Isn't that wild? Yeah. And unfortunately, you don't get to stay where you want to stay. Yeah. You don't necessarily get to roll it back the way you remember it being. Yeah. You just have to keep going forward and working it. So what do you like about the consulting side of the business compared to like running your own shop? So first of all, I hate the word consulting. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good to know. I haven't figured out a word that works, right? Because to me, I remember when I was in business and consultants would come see me. You know, I remember one company knocked on the door and they were ready to come in, and the guy's like, "Oh, we'll spend the whole day here. There's no charge. We'll go through. We'll talk to everyone. We'll come and tell you what your issues are." And I'm thinking to myself, I already know my issues. Right. I just don't know how to fix them. And then you're going to make me a recommendation after. And I know what they did. So it's like it was like one of those Anderson Consultings or one of them. They come in and they do it for free. And at the end of 7 hours, the guy's making recommendations for $40,000 worth of things to do. And people come in and set up and all these procedures. And I'm like, get out. Right? So that's why I don't like the word consulting, because it's more, I think consultant suit and tie.
Yeah.
I don't own a tie. If I did, I'd probably hang myself, right? What I like about what I get to do is I really get off on helping people. I get off on watching people succeed. It could be my kids, it could be my friends, it could be a stranger.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone has a different meaning of what success is. Some will, it'll mean money. How much money did you make?
Mm-hmm.
Others, success is what did you learn and what did you accomplish? If I can go in and help someone put a smile on a face, help someone get ahead, do something, that's great. And let's not kid yourself. At the end of the day, I got to put gas in the boat. The boat eats a lot of gas when I'm zipping around from A to B, and the truck with pulling it. So I do got to make some money, but I want to make fair money. I want people to feel when I'm done that I did something constructive for them. Right? It could be help them relay out a plant so that the process runs in the proper order. It doesn't go back and forth. It could be going around meeting everyone, suggesting to him that maybe they need to relieve one or two people.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens, I've automatically saved them $120,000. And as a former owner, many times I was stuck on my own. I couldn't do it. And then if somebody was in, it just made it's hard to say, it's hard to not listen when you're hearing it again from some others.
Right.
And it's sometimes easier to do things with others, right? In my company, if I would pay to bring people in to do something, the people inside knew that I was spending money, investing money in the company, in the process, in the people to take us to the next level or to take us further ahead. It's all in how you put it out. It's all in how you sell it. Right? I would never ask people in my company to come in and work a whole weekend if I wasn't coming in to be there. Even if I was sitting upstairs playing solitaire in my office and buying lunch, I made them there to see. I used to be in the back at night. The day would end and there'd be a night shift, and I would go and I'd hear the buzzer I'd be unloading a truck in a suit. Well, in the old days when I wore a suit, or whatever, because I didn't want the two guys on the big press coming off the press to stop what they're doing to unload pallets. That wasn't because I'm so nice. That's because I didn't want to lose money on the press. But while doing that, they're going like, holy moly, like that guy, look at him. He's down here with us.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me on the press because every time I went on the press and pushed a button or something, everything came to a grinding halt. So they just banned me from it, which is okay. I respect that.
Yeah. Well, man, I got to tell you, it's so much fun to watch people that really enjoy what they do, and it's an added layer when you share kind of behind the curtain the way that you do. It just makes you, like, even before I talked to you the other day, I felt like I knew you, and that's kind of the power of this new medium, right? I mean, you feel like you know people well in advance. And I think it's highly, undervalued, especially when you're good at it. To get out there and share your stories and give people a peek behind the curtain, and the way you're doing it, like the stuff you're doing with what they think and the stuff that you're doing on your own. And I won't use the word consulting here, but the help that you're the help that you're giving companies, it's awesome. And I'm really just excited to meet you here. Thanks for carving out some time, but also it'll be fun for me to sit back and kind of watch the journey continue for you, my man.
Yeah, listen, if people are listening and you call me and you hire me and keep me busy, then I probably won't have time to do these podcasts. So call me. Let me help. Let's have a conversation, right? But yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. It really makes life easy when you like what you do. Doesn't matter what industry. The one thing I want to say is, for all the people out there that are miserable doing what they're doing, just change before it's too late. Find something that makes you happy, right? And if you're not happy and you're miserable and you change, you're going to give someone another opportunity to be happy in that place.
Man, well, I tell you what, that's a great clip right there, my man. I could talk to you for a long time, and you have content. I have so many notes here. But
You can't afford to talk to me.
I know. I'm looking at the clock.
I'm just
I know.
kidding.
I know.
Yeah, the other thing, like joking,
Yeah.
maybe, it goes back to the shoe in the mouth, but it's hard to sit for more than 30 minutes and not make a joke, because I just feel that the whole world needs to laugh a little more,
Yeah.
because we're all on it for a short period, right? Like, we don't know if, God forbid, tomorrow's our last day. I want someone to say, "Oh my God, he had me laughing before he left."
Yeah.
Not he screamed at me.
I love it.
And again, kind, respectful, take care of your priorities, but just go and do and just be happy. Enjoy.
Yeah. I love it, Warren. Man, well, thanks for joining me. I'll share, all the links and the stuff that you're doing here, when we post as well. But you're doing great things, and it's just a pleasure to meet a guy like you. And it's my favorite part of the job,
Pleasure.
man, is connecting with people that I find interesting and that are doing things that are not only moving the industry forward, but some of the advice and your perspective. I just think it's helpful across the board. So thanks, man.
Yeah, I'll do one more plug for me. But if you are a print owner and you happen to love fishing, I'm going to suggest that you call me. We could talk about fish, but the little program that I run, I like to spend a couple days in the office, and then I like to get the owner, right, or the person I'm dealing with, the top person, out on a boat for a day. Hopefully you're near water, because what we're going to talk about and get done on the day is not just about the fish. We're going to get to know each other. When everybody's relaxed and their guard is down, that's when the real stuff starts to happen. Right. And I know the couple people I've gotten out, they just want to get out. So if you need an excuse to get out of your office, make me your excuse. Pay me and learn something. And then let's just get a great picture with the fish.
I love it.
Small.
It's awesome, Warren. Well, thanks again, brother. I will. I'll let you know where this goes.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. We'll be following you. We'll be talking to you soon.